Good morning and welcome to Word Up Wednesdays, everybody. It's so good to be back with you. I'm excited, as always, to be able to present and provide some midweek impact and momentum for you and your family, your friends, or whoever you come in contact with today. Do me a favor, friends, and please share this with as many people as you can through the platforms that are displayed before you with YouTube and Facebook. And for every platform that you think is suitable for your loved ones, your neighbors, your co-workers, your friends, some strangers, people you may not even know. Just be led and share this because I believe it's going to help you today. You know, I'm reminded today with the topic that God blessed me to stand on, because I was asking them, what is our Word Up Wednesday going to be today? What is it that we need to say to the good people? And a song dropped in my spirit so heavy, y'all, and I woke up singing it. And because I was having a discussion and I was just thinking about how good God is. He's so stable. He's so solid. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, just like a tree planted by the waters. I shall not be moved. And see, when we think about that thing, that is clearly where my mind went. And if I can use some layman terms for those of you that grew up in my era, and some of you even today, not only shall I not be moved, I ain't going. I shall not be moved. And I ain't going. We're not going for anything that is deceptive and it is trying to deceive our minds from thinking that God ain't got everything under control. God is not in charge, and he is conscious and aware of where we are today, what's happening, what we are enduring, and what we're even thinking about. Let's go to the word. So I'm going to kind of move backwards in this text, so y'all stick with me. It is found in the book of Jeremiah, and I want to start here, okay? In the book of Jeremiah, chapter number 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? We look at this thing and we understand that human nature will try to reassert its dominance in a converted person's life. Somebody that's a believer, that's already given their life to the Lord, or is in the process of making that change. And see, the word that is translated from the Hebrew into the English word deceitful means tortoise, twisted, convoluted. I'll show you. Again, it says the word that is translated from Hebrew into the English word deceitful means tortoise or tortuos. Pardon me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Twisted or convoluted. See, it's important for us to recognize this point because when we realize this, we know that the way of human nature is tortoise. All right. There's no sugarcoating it. It's the way of human nature is tortoise, twisted, and convoluted in its thinking and its reasoning. God is referring to the kind of justifications or rationalizations that it actually will make to convince a person that it's okay to sin. I'm just going to be straight up. This nature of man in this flesh that we live in is saying that it's okay to sin. Not to pay attention to the law of God, to say to self, it really does not matter. I'm only one person. No, there's a quote, this frank quote from Aldous Huxley. I was doing some Berean studying, and I picked this point up, which appears in his book. It's called Ends and Means, page 270. And it says, I had motives to not wanting the world, to have a meaning, consequently assume that it had not had none, and was able without any difficulty to find gratifying reasons for this assumption. Convoluted, tortuous, twisted, looking for rationalizations and justifications continuing on. That's picked up in page 273. So, Pastor Nick, where are you going with this? Check this out. See, most ignorance is vincible ignorance. I'll say that again. Most ignorance is vincible ignorance. See, we don't know because we don't want to know. All right. That's what it means. You choose to be ignorant, right? And I've even been guilty. I'm going to keep it all the way 100. I have said, listen, the less I know in certain things, the less I'm accountable for. But see, most ignorance, as we know, for many people, is because we choose not to know. It is our will that decides how and upon what subjects we can use for our intelligence. Those who detect no meaning in the world generally do so, okay? I'm going to just be frank, because it's for one reason or another. It suits their books that the world should be meaningless, right? See, we objected to the morality because it interfered even with our sexual freedom, right? And many times that is something that is a heavy, heavy topic. And that's something for another day. But you got to think about it. This is how human nature works. The heart, twists the truth of God, and it deceives itself into thinking that, well, let us make the assumption that the world and life have no meaning. The devil is a liar. Therefore, we can do what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it. This is from a highly intelligent human being. Smart people, very intelligent. We also know that for us to acknowledge and to yield to truth, it will be personally costly, right? And that's why sometimes people make certain choices and they forsake the truth because they know they're going to be consequences to things that might get affected. For example, you may lose out on some things that are pleasurable, your house, your job, your family status, your social status, or what have you. You don't want to rock the boat in certain areas. And so we allow ourselves to be deceived into thinking it really does not matter if we yield to the wrong thing this time. Have you ever felt like that? We will fight the battle the next time it comes up. Now, to get to the point that I want to take y'all, let's go up to verse number 8 in Jeremiah 17. For we shall be like a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see what heat cometh. But her leaf shall be green and shall not be careful. And it goes on to say in that verse, in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. We have to be so rooted and grounded in the principles of righteousness, of truth, of the things, even when it don't feel good, when it's not convenient. We have to be that solid and rooted and anchored in our blessed hope, in the name of the Lord Jesus, in the things that we know are righteous. And if you're not sure, you need to seek out truth. You need to understand, to get with somebody that you can trust, somebody in counsel, somebody spiritually sound that can discern the things that may be very tricky to determine whether it's right or wrong. And ultimately, we have to trust what it is that God has given us. And if you're not sure, again, that's why we have intercessors. That's why we have people to support you. You have to connect with somebody. We can't do this thing on our own. And then I want to say this. Look at verse number 7. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. We have to ask God to build up our faith, our trust, and our hope in him, and not in our self-wisdom, not by our might, not by our power, but by your spirit, saith the Lord. And I want to leave you with this before we close this thing out. Don't go for the foolery. You have to say to yourself, look, I know the status that we're in. I know what's transpiring in this country, in this nation, in this world, the changes that are coming upon us, all the things that we're getting ready to endure, all the decisions that have been made. We know that our election, and we will have a new president, which was our former president, that is coming back into office. And many people are in their feelings, whether it be good or bad. But right now, the Lord has allowed this to happen. And we have to seek him on how we deal with others and trust and know that Jesus is king regardless. And we have to be keeping our eyes open, watching and praying, and not be ignorant, not be stuck in a place of confusion or blindness, or as I said earlier, the level of ignorance, which we call choosing to be in. Most ignorance is invincible ignorance. We can't be vincibly ignorant. We don't know because we don't want to know. You better know where you're at. And you have to be able to say, look, I'm not moving on what I know is right, what is solid, what is sound. I ain't going for the foolishness. I ain't going. I'm not moved by what, just because the wind blows to the left and everybody moving that way, or the crowd is running to the right and everybody is shifting that way. I'm not going unless God influences me, God shows me, and God give me a sign. Show me, oh Lord, before I make a decision, before I choose to react, to respond, to make this investment. You have to make sure your heart and your soul and your mind is anchored and not be moved, just like that tree. When it's even in drought in this nation, where people have turned their back on God, people have forsaken him, or when it's convenient, they want to do what they want to do and say what they want to say. But we have to be in a place with this last scripture, this nugget that I'm going to give you in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Keep seeking him. Keep living for him. The labor of love is not in vain. The labor of wisdom, the time invested, the sacrifices, trusting in him, you can boldly say, I shall not be moved. I ain't going, because God has got me. He's holding me down. He's my foundation, and his name is Jesus. God bless you. I pray and I trust that you receive something today to help you. And feel free to share us, like us, and follow us with Covenant Family Worship Ministries. We love you. I'm Pastor Nick. God bless you in Jesus' name.